August 17th is the feast of Saint Clare of Montefalco, an Augustinian nun noted for her devotion to the Passion of Christ. For that reason, she is sometimes called Saint Clare of the Cross. Saint Clare was born in Montefalco, Italy in 1268, the second daughter of Damiano and Jacopo Vengente. While still young, she went to live with her sister Joan, who had established a community of cloistered nuns. From the beginning, little Clare observed the rule of the Third Order of St. Francis and added severe penances, keeping strict silence, taking only bread and water, and sleeping on the ground. As a young woman, she became a member of that community, professing religious vows under the rule of St. Augustine. About 8 years later, Clare and the other sisters moved to a new convent, that of Santa Croce, which had been built for them on a nearby hill. Joan was elected as the first abbess, and their small hermitage was dedicated as a monastery. A year later, on November 22nd, 1291, Joan died, and Clare was elected abbess by the bishop. At first, she refused the office, but the nuns kept insisting that only Clare was called to serve as abbess. So she reluctantly accepted. She was only 23 years old at that time. Clare was a wise abbess who governed with love and holiness. Her wisdom and holiness soon became known to people outside the monastery. Troubled persons, including bishops, priests, friars, theologians, judges, educated and illiterate alike, came seeking Clare's counsel. She helped the conversion of sinners. She reconciled families which were at odds with one another. She helped to make peace between neighboring warring towns. She drove out evils, healed the sick, and even raised the dead. During the latter part of her life, she also received the gifts of ecstasy and supernatural knowledge. She was deeply devoted to the Passion of Christ and was known to experience periods of ecstasy as she contemplated the mystery of the cross. One day, Jesus appeared before her, carrying his cross, and said, "I have been searching for a long time, daughter, to find a firm and solid place on which to plant my cross, and I have not found one more suitable than your heart. You must receive it and allow it to take root." She reached for the cross, making known her desire to help him carry it, and Jesus implanted it in her heart. The intense pain she felt in all her being upon receiving the cross in her heart remained with her. The rest of her years were spent in pain and suffering, and yet she continued to joyfully serve her fellow nuns as their abbess. Clare herself once told a sister in her convent, "If you seek the cross of Christ, take my heart. There you will find the suffering Lord." In 1303, Clare built a church in Montefalco, which served as a chapel for the nuns and a church for the town. It was blessed by the Bishop of Spoleto and was dedicated to the Holy Cross. Clare's reputation for holiness and wisdom attracted visitors to the monastery of the Holy Cross, but she continued to still govern the monastery with care. She served as abbess for 16 years, and in August 1308, she became so ill that she was bedridden. Clare made her last confession on August 17th and died in the convent on August 18th. After her death, a post-mortem examination revealed that her heart did indeed contain a representation of the cross and other symbols of Christ's suffering and death, formed from cardial muscle. Clare was canonized by Leo XIII in 1881. Her remains are at the Augustinian convent in Montefalco. The life of Clare of the Cross is a striking reminder that holiness is the work of grace and not of human effort. Nonetheless, cooperation with the work of God is indispensable for spiritual growth. For he who made us without our willing it will not save us without our willing it. Sorry for interrupting the video. I am here to deliver a quick message. If you think our channel has given you $5 worth of knowledge, then can you take a moment to make a donation? Please don't skip the video. 99.8% of our viewers simply skip this, or many think they will donate later and forget. If you make a small donation now, then we can keep making good videos like this one. You can choose to support us through Patreon or make a one-time donation through PayPal. The links are given in the description box below. If you are one of our rare donors, we warmly thank you. You have shown the world access to good content matters to you. Thanks again, and God bless. Some saints' names are more familiar to us than others, but even the lives of obscure holy persons teach us something. And so it is with Saint Casilda. Saint Casilda, the daughter of a king, was born in Toledo, Spain in the 11th century. Raised in a different religion, she embraced her faith. Every night, when everything slept or seemed to sleep in the castle, Casilda got up from her bed and ajarly opening the door and the windows of her room, the girl listened to the moans and groans that went up to her from the nearby jail. The jail was filled with mostly Christians captured in the harsh border flights of the Moorish kingdom. Since she was a child, she had shown great sensitivity to the misfortunes of others, and once, while visiting the jail, she had discovered the harshness of the prison and the tragic fate of the captives. In her visits to the dungeons of the fortress, she did not hesitate to bring them food and console them. She spoke to them, and her curiosity aroused for their religion, as these men did not renounce despite their hardships. Soon, her father came to know about her frequent visits to the fortress, and he was criticized by the nobles present at the court. One day, when Casilda was approaching the cellars of the fortress, hiding food in her apron, her father came out. He asked her what she was doing there and what she was hiding in the apron. At first, the girl was very frightened, but she quickly recovered her serenity and replied that they were only flowers to brighten up those rooms a little. Her father demanded that she open her apron, and Casilda did so, and a large bunch of roses appeared to fall from her apron. Thus, Saint Casilda is frequently depicted in religious art as carrying a basket or a bunch of roses. As a young woman, she became ill, most likely from a hemorrhagic fever, common at the time, for which there was no cure. The doctors of the court did not know how to find a remedy for her pains. As a last resort to save her life, she was advised to go to the waters of the Lake of San Vicente near the town of Brevisca in the middle of the Kingdom of Castile. Naturally, the king did not like to send his daughter to Christian lands, but after much thought, he gave permission to undertake the journey. Her father obtained permission from the Christian king of Burgos for his daughter to pass safely to the pool, agreeing in return to free the Christian captives he had been holding. And so, Casilda started her journey with 2 of her maids. Along the way, as Casilda was crossing a bridge, her horse was frightened by a demon, and she fell into the water. But an angel came and rescued her. At her destination, she was well received by the locals. She took a bath at the springs, and there she was cured of her illness. Consequently, she was baptized into Christianity and lived the rest of her life as an anchoress in prayer, penance, and solitude. It's said that she lived to be 100 years old. Her death likely occurred around the year 1050. Through her quiet, simple life, Casilda served her Creator, first in one faith, then in another. Saint Casilda is the patron saint of Toledo. Dear Saint Casilda, compassionate convert and model of faith, hope, and love, pray for us.